Alright, let's just see when this comes online. There we go, okay, I'm live. I'm going to be streaming Ugly Duckling vs Kerts, which should be happening very soon. What's their usernames right now? I don't know what names they're under right now, but it should be happening soon. Or in the what do you call it? Thingy room. Old Gens, Ruins of Alf. I don't know quite how soon, but let me. I've also got my my Discord set up. So there's private Discord server I'm in where a few people might want to join, but probably not. What on earth does it say that I'm streaming? I need to set up my thing, don't I? Let me rename it. Sorry, I just didn't anticipate doing this, so I've not actually got it set up yet. There we go. Kerts versus UD ADV MT7 semis. There we go. Kerts. Getting to watch it all the most exciting way. There we go. We're beginning. Alright. Let's see. So we see a T-Tar from UD and a Skarmory from Kerts. Well, we'll see what T-Tar does. It will reveal its set. If it's Choice Band, it will probably Rock Slide here. May Fire Blast if it's a Pursuit sort of set, or a mixed set, or maybe even a Boa set. Or we could see a Magneton switch. Chances are Skarmory is probably going to spike up here, but it could well win to Scout for Magneton. But it's unlikely that we'd see a Dugtrio switch in there. And we see a Focus Punch, which critical hits, which I don't believe KOs without the critical hit there, although I think it does an awful lot. I don't really know. But yeah, the crit matters as well. You can see UD saying sorry in the chat. But in comes Suicune. There was at least one spike up by Kerts. Sorry, we've got a different name, so it's a bit of a pain. But yeah, this should be good. So UD's up with that, but he's forced to switch out here, unless he really wants to make a ballsy play and predict a Calm Mind here. We could see a Roar from the Suicune even, if he anticipates some sort of switch in like a Blissey, which is possible but far from guaranteed. Or we might see something like Snorlax switch in if this is like a sort of standard offensive team from UD. We'll see, and in comes a Celebi, which is his response, and we do see a Roar scouting the team. So UD didn't have the balls there to Focus Punch, but he roars into Tyranitar, so he doesn't get any more information. But T-Tar and Celebi's a pretty nice defensive call that can keep the information hidden pretty well. But he Hydro Pumps, and UD makes a terrible misplay staying in there instead of going to Celebi again. But given that it's an offensive Kun, possibly, as the Hydro suddenly revealed, it's possible that Celebi wouldn't have lived to two Ice Beams there and might have been outsped. So yeah, it was a risky proposition for UD there, and it really didn't pay off. So we see Giga Drain from UD's Celebi forcing out the Kun, but Kerts' own Celebi comes in, Calm Mind. We see Hidden Power Fire from UD. So the last move is either Psychic, Recover, or Baton Pass. But this is an offensive one. Oh, we see a Doug Trio switch in, surprisingly, to Hidden Power Bug the Celebi. I don't know if it KOs there. Some interesting plays. Oof. And I play so quickly I can't really comment on it. It's almost as fast as it is in Callus's videos from the replays. No, in comes an offensive Starmie, and this could plain clean house with that Calm Mind pass, which makes it incredibly dangerous. But yeah, no, he decided not to HP bug there, anticipating a Baton pass there, but yeah, or a grass move. Yeah, I'm not sure what to think of this for UD. I'm not sure I agree with his plays, but that definitely is a very punishing situation for him here. I'm not sure if this just plain cleans house, but if he has any response, we'll see it now. But it might be something as desperate as Aerodactyl Rock Slide. Hoping for flinches. I'm not sure what really beats this that he could have, though. But yeah, that Hydro cleanly and happily one-hit KOs, although reveals probably not, mustn't have Psychic then, so maybe it's something like Hydro, Spin, T-Bolt, Ice Beam, or Recover somewhere. But yeah, we go Starmie for Starmie, Thunderbolts, and Retaliation one-hit KO, since there's the Calm Mind boosts. Dotrio, I don't know if it outspeeds. If it's Jolly Dotrio, it does actually. So he may have just about managed to stop this, and he does. So the Starmie is just about dealt with, but it took out two of his Pokemon, and he was already down. Well, he wasn't down a poke, but he's now down 3 to 4. With Dotrio revealed already, which yeah. This Gengar looks like a serious menace. Ice Punch there, which would hit either of the revealed Pokemon. In comes Metagross, which at least takes that reveal's leftovers. There's this Suicune that handles it fine, but UD predicts that, goes Celebi here. Yeah, I know, I'm not the best commentator, I'm almost just saying what's happening. I don't know ADV that amazingly well, and I'd love it if someone came and joined in with talking with me, but I might just be all alone for this set. But no, that was a nice double by UD, but I'm still not sure if you can really capitalize on that, because the Celebi just comes in like that, and yeah, you can Giga Drain there, but what does it do? Yeah, so I'm not really sure what UD's plan here is to win. He doesn't really have anything that can clean up, well, maybe Dugtrio, but yeah, the Celebi is just very dangerous. You can't really beat it outside of maybe a critical hit HP bug, or critical hitting with his Celebi's HP fire, or maybe an explosion from Metagross. But even so, even after all of that, can he break through the remaining 3 Pokemon? Like, I don't really see. Gengar's a bit of an issue as well every time it gets in, but yeah, I'm not sure. It's not over yet for UD, but this Celebi is going to be a serious issue for him to get through. Although, that being said, what does Kerts have to do with this Celebi other than his own one? It seems like it might almost be a ditto between these two that decides it. But we haven't seen the full set yet revealed for the CM Pass Celebi. Pardon me, that Kerts is using, Calm Mind, Recover, Baton Pass. So the most likely thing I imagine is a Grass or Psychic Stab move there. But no, he reveals Hidden Power, either Fire or less likely Ice, I guess, which only does 20%. But there is no Recover on UD's Celebi, which is what makes this so much more difficult, especially with the sand as well. He can't recover any of that HP. So it's going to be seriously difficult to beat up the Celebi. and because of the Calm Mind boost, it does put him on a timer. So, for Calm Minding up further, I mean, he does have Giga Drain for recovery, but that doesn't help him at all here, since it'll do nothing to this Celebi compared to the damage that Hidden Power would do in return. So he's Calm Minding up to full. Is he perhaps hoping for a critical hit, or is he going to go bat and pass into Dougie once at full and try for a critical hit Hidden Power Bug? Something like that. Force to recover, maybe. We see another Hidden Power come down from either side. Yes, we see one there. He's hoping for a critical hit here. Seems to be out of desperation. But I mean, you've got to play for everything you've got. But I think at this point he's either forced to go into Duck Trio. I don't know if it lives a Hidden Power here. Or keep on fishing with the Celebi, but no, he's this might just clean up house now. Oh, but no, he does get a critical hit. So there it is. At the last possible opportunity, he takes up that Celebi, but this Celebi itself is quite weak. However, it's got 5 special defense boosts, so judging by the fact that he mustn't have a faster physical attacker last, otherwise he would go to that. He's got to go to this Gengar and either hope for a critical hit Ice Punch or explode on it or something like that, or Hypnosis, or Destiny Bond. I mean, he's got any number of emergency moves which he could go for. But yeah, I'm not sure what he goes for here. I don't know if this how much his Celebi is doing back. I mean, Gengar resists Giga Drain, which is really what he'd want to do to regain some health back. But Hidden Power probably one hit KOs. No, he just cleanly switches out there. And we see Hypnosis come down out of desperation for Kerts. Relying on its 60% accuracy, it misses, but Metagross comes in for better or worse. We see a surprise Psychic from Metagross, which is uncommon, especially on leftover sets as well. Which is good that he got out of the way of that, since that would have knocked out the Gengar. But it does a massive 60% to the Suicune, which is really problematic, since the Suicune was pretty dangerous and he might have been forced to roar on it. But that Hydra in return does a massive 58%, so that Metagross is now weakened, and it's almost possible that this Gengar cleans up depending on the set, especially if it happens to be something like Fire Punch. We've seen Ice Punch revealed so far. We don't know the EVs on that. I don't know if Thunderbolt KOs from that range. I would suspect probably not, unless it's an offensive Gengar, like a really offensive one. But yeah, I don't know. We might well see the last Pokemon then on Kerts' side here. Going in for the revenge kill. I wonder if maybe it's a Dug Trio or something, which would be interesting. But I don't know if that would put him into that would probably put him into a bit of a losing situation against the Celebi. Well, as you know, I think if he does have a Dug Trio, then he just wins and cleans up. I mean, Dug Trio seems possible on that team since he has CM past Celebi, which might learn some stuff. But yeah, I don't really know what would the last Pokemon on that team be. I mean, he doesn't really have much to take out special attackers. He's just got the Calm Mind Pass approach with the Celebi. Maybe if he had a Porygon 2, he would have used it. So yeah, I'm not really sure what on earth the last Pokemon on that team is. I wonder if UD has figured it out. There's a very similar team to UD's actually. 3 of the 6 same Pokemon, the Starmie, the Celebi, and the Gengar, although different Celebi sets. He also doesn't have a rock resist, so it makes me think that it must be like a ground or a steel type. So maybe Swampert or Flygon or something like that. Swampert doesn't seem sensible, given what's already there with the stacking the types with the 2 other water types. I mean, it makes the team seem really quite weak to other Celebi, especially with the Skarmory can just get magged. Rhydon. Oh, okay, I understand that UD actually helped him with this team. Um, that's very interesting, but I don't know if that can take on this Metagross. But damn. I mean, ultimately, he needs to do some damage to this Metagross so that Gengar can clean up, since it outspeeds and KOs the Celebi, and it should beat the Dugtrio 1v1 from full, and it outspeeds this Metagross, but it doesn't KO at this point, so the question is does this Rhydon get one hit KO'd by that Metagross's Meteor Mash or something else, and if it doesn't, then does UD explode here? But no, that doesn't make any sense. If anything, he would switch out to something like Celebi, but I don't know if after spikes and leftovers, so at 24%, that Metagross would be able to survive a Gengar attack. And even then, he has Hypnosis to contend with. So if he can KO this Rhydon, which it turns out he can't, then I'd say he's in a good situation. But no. He fails to get the KO there. Although I'm not sure yeah. He fails to get the KO there, but means in comes Celebi now. Or Dougie? I don't know. Yeah, I guess maybe Revenge with Dougie, EQ it. Switch to Celebi as a sack to the Gengar, and then Rock Slide Flinch, hope for death that way. The alternative option is that he goes to Celebi and Giga Drains, but then what does that leave him with to deal with this Gengar? I mean, you'd probably still have to go Rock Slide Flinch route, and then he can't take out the Rhydon afterwards, so I'm absolutely certain he must have to go Dugtrio here, and then sacrifice the Celebi. So yeah, I think Kerts did a good job there, but no, instead he goes to the Celebi, forces out the Rhydon. I don't understand that, personally. It's not like it could be some hidden power that's super effective on Gengar, because it's super effective on Celebi, and they don't have overlapping special weaknesses, I don't think. Just checking the chat. The thing here. Yeah, I mean, they're weak to... Oh, well, I mean, it could be hidden power Dark. But yeah, no, that's very unlikely. If it is hidden power Dark, then that would be the move of the century, to hidden power Dark that Gengar to oblivion. But yeah, I don't see that coming. No, okay. It is just to say, I mean, the Rhydon isn't useful, but I don't understand why you wouldn't go Gengar there. Ice Punch, but I guess the healing that the Celebi gets from that maybe means that it's not in range. I don't know. I feel like they both misplayed a bit in this endgame, but I think it ultimately will come down to the Gengar versus Dougie matchup. But yeah, I don't understand why you wouldn't go Gengar there. I mean, can hidden power critical hit KO you? I don't understand what on earth he was afraid of to not go Gengar there. But it really depends on. We already saw that was a fast Dugtrio since it outsped the Starmie, so it almost definitely outspeeds this Gengar. So I mean, I'm pretty sure it does just come down to Rock Slide Flinches. I can't really see any reason why it would be anything else. Yeah, it does come down to what that Celebi EV spread is, I guess, then. and the Gengar one, how offensive it is. These are two Pokemon that can run a variety of spreads. And Celebi is usually fairly bulky for Dugtree, although physically bulky, but that usually means plenty of HP. Meanwhile, Gengar nowadays tends to run more defensively oriented spreads without that much special attack investment relative to full, which a few Gengar run, but we see it just misses out. Although it KOs with sand, but it didn't really matter, so yeah, I don't understand why you wouldn't have gone Gengar there anyway, but I mean, I guess it means maybe less damage than would have been dealt there. But yeah, I think this Dugtrio needs a flinch to win, so that's ultimately what it comes down to. I'm not sure it really made a difference whether he went Gengar or not now on that Celebi. We see a Rock Slide, it hits, connects, doesn't flinch. Gengar hits with the Ice Punch. It's game 1 to Kerts, so as an interesting game is Celebi got quite unlucky, but that C Imposter Starmie really put in the hurt, took down a couple of foes. Skarmory got critical hit early, but all in all, that worked out for Kerts. I think he sort of had the better matchup for all that, played well. So yeah, this is a best of 3 series for those who aren't aware. So means 1 or 2 games left. It depends on. Well, UD has to win both of the following games to be through to the finals, which is a 3-way finals with BKC, Autumn Leaves on the forums, and Coffee, the Italian player, being his other opponents, who'll have to play best of 3 against each of those. And then that, with those 3 series played, that will determine 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Master Tournament number 7. So right, we've got game 2 here. We see another Skarmory lead from Kerts. I don't know if he's using the same team again. We see a Salamence on UD's side that could very well be a Mixed Mounts or maybe a Choice Band one. Maybe a Dragon Dance one. I mean, it can be a lot of things. Skarm spikes turn 1 again, not afraid. And we see Magneton come in with the ability to probably not quite one hit KO here. We'll see if critical hits or something unusual happens, or if it's a really not specially defense invested Skarm or something like that. But we'll see. One thing to note is the nicknames on UD's teams named after his SPL teammates, so it's probably a team that he used in SPL. Right, Kerts goes for the second spike instead of phasing, deciding that the second spike is more valuable than having an intact Skarmory, since it can't do much at that low HP, although it can do something. I mean, on certain teams with certain players, you might see a whirlwind there, but no. As usual, we see going for the second layer of spikes instead there. T-Tar comes in to swing momentum back and sets up Sand Earthquakes in exchange for a Thunderbolt, which does a lot, which indicates an offensive Tar. We see leftovers now, so we see it's a DD Tar. We see no leftovers on the Mance, which suggests probably a CB Mance. There's 1 or 2 other variants of Salamence that don't run leftovers that it could be, but it's most likely CB. In comes Gengar, anticipating a Brick Break, but we see HP Flying instead, which takes out the Gengar, which tried to switch in, and punishing him for the prediction there. At not much cost to the Salamence, although now the Tyranitar gets another free attack. In comes the Metagross on that Rock Slide, which did paltry damage, so that must be quite a bulky Metagross. It does reveal leftovers, and the Tyranitar didn't do much either. Obviously, it's a DD Tar. Almost definitely, or it could be the Taunt Toxic Rock Slide EQ set, which is probably even bulkier. Well, I don't know, DD Tars in general are quite bulky now. We see Protect, which is something I remember seeing him using in SPL actually, which is interesting. But yeah, so we see a Metagross anyway from Kerts' side, which gets a Meteor Mash boost against the Skarmory, which comes in to spike up and or phase it. That 54% Meteor Mash, so perhaps that means no spikes for UD, and we see a Starmie, so it clearly wouldn't have been in his favour to have gone for spiking anyway, having revealed that now. So yeah, it's still a bit hard to figure out who's in the stronger position. I mean, Kerts has spikes up, but this game looks to be quite offensive, and two of Yudi's Pokemon are spikes immune. But this Skarmory is almost out of it, although I probably can get another layer of spikes up at some point. So it's almost 4-4, but not quite. We see Hydro Pump from Starmie, which does a decent chunk to the Celebi. I'm suspecting quite an offensive Celebi. With the damage it did. Ice Beams to follow up, which doesn't quite do 50%, but forces him into recovering again. In comes CB-Tar, threatening a Choice Band HP Bug. Oh no, sorry, not that. I'm silly. Sorry, I'm doing a callus. And thinking that something's got a set that it absolutely can't have, whilst narrating. She does frequently. But we do see Hidden Power Bug, so yeah, fairly typical DD-Tar set, but Salamence comes in anticipating that. I mean, HP Bug was very clear, unless it was a very skillful bluff from Kerts, which it wasn't. And if it did have that, that was almost certainly coming down, so the best thing to do was to go to a Salamence or to Skarmory if you wanted spikes. But spikes clearly aren't that useful, given what has come up, so I don't know. But CBEQ there from Salamence gets the job done, does completely one-hit KOs at 88%, so it's quite interesting to see. But in comes Starmie afterwards to follow up, rather than a ground immune, but it outspeeds and has already revealed Ice Beam. Nothing really switches into the Ice Beam very well that's been revealed. Celebi may well be 2-hit KO'd after spikes and 2 Ice Beams. Skarmory and Salamence clearly go down to it. Metagross can come in, but it takes spikes damage from the Ice Beam, and then a Hydro coming down afterwards would deal it a number. So unless the last Pokemon, which is, I don't remember what it is, someone watching might be able to tell me. But yeah, no, it might be a case of either he has to sack or he has to dance around with Metagross to get Celebi in, which is a little risky. But I could definitely see it working. But no, he decides instead to sack Skarmory, which I agree with because it's not really that useful in this matchup. Since it was almost in KO range of Metagross's Meteor Mash anyway, and with the Starmie around, a single spike which it might be able to get up isn't that useful compared to the utility of foddering it there. But in comes the Celebi now, which is a bit more dangerous looking. It can Calm Mind up here or Leech Seed, so it reveals it's a Recover Vat and Pass Leech Seed set. So it's interesting. Good question. What is it passing? Is it, if it has no attack, then it might be bad in passing Recover or Calm Mind or something, or Sword Stance. But it's more likely that I guess that it has some attack loss. But that Meteor Mash does an absolutely incredible amount, 69%. Clearly Choice Band boosted, which we already knew from the damage it was doing on the Skarmory. But that being said, it would be able to recover here, but since it got the attack boost, he may well have to rely on a miss, which makes the Starmie in turn a lot more dangerous, since Starmie itself is threatening to clean up even if this Metagross doesn't. So Yudi is in a bit of a tight spot in this second game, with both this Metagross and this Starmie looking quite dangerous. I mean, Metagross, especially with that attack boost, isn't something you can really switch around with against, even though he does have a resist available there in that Metagross, and the Leech Seed recovery would help minimize the damage done. But even so, with the spikes and the +1 boost, Choice Band boosted, Meteor Mash coming down, it's still not a situation, not something he really wants to switch in. So the question is does he make a sacrifice? Does he stay in with Celebi, hope for a miss? I think is what he's going for, hoping for a miss, but no, one-hit KOs in there. Says he needed Celebi to really stop this Starmie from being problematic. So we'll see what he goes for. I mean, but this Metagross could be in a position to sweep even though it's slower. But I guess he's got the CB mounts that can revenge kill here with the Choice Button boosted Earthquake, which is what he does. But then the Starmie threatens to sweep in return. Although it's probably something like a DD-Tar lost. would be my best guess. Memory serves me right, that is what it is, but I don't remember. But yeah, Ice Beam comes down, KOs the Salamence. I don't know what Kerts' last Pokemon is. If it is the team we saw before, which is certainly very possible, then it's a Rhydon. And UD might be able to take advantage of that fact. But what can this do? It's a Toxic Protect set, so I mean, Toxic isn't the best thing for this. That presumably means that it's very bulky, so it can protect here. I don't know, would you want to maybe switch to Rhydon here? I mean, it's really unlikely that a Meteor Mash comes down, but I don't know if Meteor Mash KOs or not at that point. Given that it's a bulkier Metagross, given the set, probably means that a Rhydon switch here would be fairly safe, and if the last is DD Tower, as my memory tells me, then that's a pretty free and pretty dangerous Earthquake to have there. And that might well just win him the game if that is indeed what he has. Well, it might make him just rely on being able to hit a Hydro Pump versus a T-Tar if it is DD Tar, since Meteor Mash plus Earthquake would KO. I mean, that would be assuming that Meteor Mash doesn't miss from UD's thing, although I guess he could Earthquake, which is probably what he's got. I wonder, is this the set that Sunny and I worked on? No, I don't think we had Toxic Protect. Maybe we did. I don't remember. I'll have to look at that. We had a good Metagross spread though. Shout out Sunny, my boy. But yeah, no, if I was Kerts, I'd go Rhydon here, since I don't see a Meteor Mash coming down from UD. But what do I see coming from UD? I mean, I think the most likely thing is a Protect. But if he does think that there's a Rhydon coming, then he might be tempted to Meteor Mash or Earthquake. How much is that going to do to the Stomach? I mean, it's presumably an offensive Stomach. I guess it depends on how much does this Hydro Pump do to this Metagross. I mean, especially given that it's like a bulky Metagross, I mean, it probably survives one, but maybe not two. It might depend on Leftovers recovery with Protect, and maybe misses. So, yeah, this is a tough spot for UD, especially if he thinks there's a good chance that a Rhydon comes in here. Kerts, both of them have said in the chat that the things that this is quite a crucial turn. Hydro Pumping here is definitely an option, but it does depend on what the last Pokemon is. I mean, if it is Rhydon, no, we see a Jolteon, we see a Protect from UD, so it is not Rhydon, so it's not going to straight win the game there. But at the same time, if there had been an Earthquake that came down, that would have really done it. So, that's interesting. I guess he just peppers it with Thunderbolts, wearing it down so that Starmie can clean up. I don't know if DD Tar, even a bulky one, whether or not that lives an offensive Starmie Hydro Pump, which is really quite brutal. But I think Kerts' only play here is the Thunderbolt, which is simple enough. And if that is like a DD Tar or something like that, or maybe it's a Swampert, could see that as well, but that doesn't seem. I feel like it wants some sort of offense, or maybe it's an Aerodactyl. Whatever it is, if it's an Aerodactyl, or whatever it is, I don't think it's switching in unless it's a ground type. Maybe a CB Flygon, and if it is like a CB Flygon, well, if it's HP Ice Jolteon, which it could be HP Grass on that team, honestly, I could see that. But at the same time, I don't think that's what it is. It's hard to say. I mean, the thing is that UD's team should be known, and if Kerts has been following SBL or at least Callus's videos, which is possible but not guaranteed, then he may well know what the last Pokemon is, which makes this different from me trying to figure out what it is. If it's a DD Tar, if it's a Flygon, if it's an Aerodactyl. I mean, all I feel is that he needs some sort of cleaner win condition last. DD Tar being the most obvious one. And if that is what it is, he doesn't want to switch into a Thunderbolt. But if it was that, could he switch into a Thunderbolt, survive it, Earthquake, and beat up this Jolteon, and then take out the Starmie with the Metagross? I don't see that happening though. So no, we do see Metagross staying in, as I thought was most likely. Earthquake's there. So that means that we have this Metagross after the Stormy. So Protect is clearly the play here. Do we see a PP saving Thunderbolt or something? No, we don't. See Hydro Pump. The question is, what variant of Starmie is this? I mean, does it have cover? It's probably Thunderbolt and Rapid Spin. It's the most likely things on top of what's already been revealed. So I don't think this is a complicated endgame. The question is what does Yudi go for in terms of his choice of moves? Does he attack it? Does he use Earthquakes, or does he use Medium Ashes? Does he need to get attack raises? Does he need to get Protect 50/50s? And then whatever is last, can that survive a Stormy Hydro Pump? Can that do damage in return? Probably can it, but the bigger question is whether it can survive a Hydro Pump. Yeah. Or possibly an Ice Beam or Thunderbolt or whatever else Stormy may be carrying. Maybe it's a Gyarados even. I don't think it is, but it's not impossible. But yeah, no, it probably isn't. It probably is DD-Tar. It just seems right on that team. But I don't know about that Celebi set on his team. I mean, that it's weird because that's like a bulky Metagross set and a bulky Celebi set. The rest of the team feels like sort of offensive, either like a sort of a breaker in that CB mounts or the Mag and the Scarm, which feel very well defined roles. So I don't know if it's sort of like a bulkier approach to heavy offense, in which case like a bulky DD-Tar would still make a lot of sense. I mean, I think it probably is a bulky DD-Tar. But yeah, I'm not sure what UD's best approach here is. After that Protect, there's no timer on, which is very nice of both of them to decide that what matters is playing the game well, rather than the timer on. I mean, in PP we don't mandate that the timer has to be on, it's optional. So, yeah, let's see. What does he do? I guess I should get up a calc, shouldn't I, since we've got a bit of a break, but I don't really want to miss it. So, wish I had someone else to talk about this, but yeah, this is crucial for Yudi. If he fails at this, if he loses this game, he is out, and he has to win this game and then win the next one to get through to the final. So it's big, and he's got to plan it absolutely as well as he possibly can. This game is very much all or nothing, as is the next one for both players. So, yeah, let's see. It'll be a big thing to get the 2-0 over UD for Kerts. That would start to make a name for him, because he's pretty much unknown to anyone outside of the ADV ladder community. Probably not even that well known within it, to my knowledge. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not really much of a ladder. I'm kind of a ladderer, but not really. So, but yeah, I don't know. He's not well known at all in the tournament community yet, but this tournament has already made a bit of a name for him. And the further he goes, the more of an impact it has, and obviously the better he does in subsequent tournaments as well. But I mean, this is the time to really start making a name for yourself as a ADV player, and let's see what he does. If he can get the 2-0 over UD, which yeah, would certainly be something. So we see Protect come down, Thunderbolt from Starmie. I think that was a fairly obvious play for both sides. Although we see the set further revealed for Starmie here. The only thing really to do here for UD is to Protect again. I mean, unless an option is switching out since it doesn't dice to Spites, and then that gives him more toxic damage. But no, okay, I was right, it was a DD-Tar in the back. BKC, named after... Yeah, BKC. Oh, but yeah, my commentary is so shit. I'm sorry. I'm so terrible. But, yeah, okay, so last one, DD Tar. I don't think DD Tar outspeeds Starmie at +1, especially the bulky variants which we see nowadays, so it's likely to just be an attack come down, can it do it? Enough damage, and I think the answer is yes. Can it live a Hydro, given that it's probably bulkier, so the answer is probably yes. A critical hit would definitely end it. We see Hydro Pump comes down though, and it does not live it, and Kerts gets the win, and that's 2-0 for Kerts. It was a tight and interesting endgame there. Both really trying to nail it, and it did work out, so there we go. So Kerts is the third and final finalist in Advanced Master Tournament 7, which has been quite a run, huge tournament, the biggest one so far in Pokemon Perfect, 48 players, and more who signed up as well. Many of them well known on the ladder, a few well known in the tournament community, and a few others here and there as well. Yeah, and these three have been the top three of this tournament. PKC, the master of ADV and many gens, well known for it and hungry for the cash prize. Kerts, the almost unknown ladder player, although Yudi has been speaking his praise very loudly in his in the interview, which you can read on PP in the Advanced Seasons forums where it is, and Coffee, who's not terribly well known outside of the Italian community, but he did compete in last PPL on Team Fire with Troller, on Troller's team, and they were the winning team, so he's got a little bit of a name for himself in PP, but this is the first time I think that he's played in a tournament other than PPL, and PPL itself is coming up again soon, so yeah, it should be an interesting final. BKC is obviously the favourite by far, with a longer, deeper history in ADV than either of the other two players. It'll be interesting to see if one of them can perhaps surprise and make it out on top, or failing that, just to see which of the two comes in second. I mean, it's a big achievement for both of them to do that, and it would really put their names down as ADV players. I mean, in the Italian community, Coffee is well known for being a good advanced player, but outside of that, I don't think he's well known at all, to my knowledge, so yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Look forward to more of these, mostly RBY, but a little bit of ADV. Maybe I'll do it with some other people as well sometime. I mean, not this time, but hopefully like Sunny or someone will come and join me, or maybe Yudi or someone. I don't know, Yudi, you should come and join me. So yeah, thank you. See you next time.